Good evening, I'm David Speers and welcome to Election 08 Western Australia. There's a great deal on the line for Labor tonight, more than just holding on to the Treasury benches in WA. For more than 10 years, Labor has won every state election, and since Kevin Rudd's victory 9 months ago, Labor has dominated federal, state and territory governments coast to coast. This one-party rule has been held up by Labor as a rare opportunity for agreement on key reforms in health, education and water. But that opportunity could be lost tonight. The tide does appear to be turning against Labor, at a state level at least. Last month, Labor had the fright of its life in the Northern Territory when it just scraped home with a one-seat victory. In New South Wales, a desperate Labor government has dumped its Premier and is gambling on an untested and largely unknown new face to revive its chances. And tonight we'll find out whether voters in Western Australia have decided 2 terms of Labor is enough for them. Alan Carpenter, the former journalist, took over as Premier soon after the last election when Jeff Gallop quit to fight clinical depression. Premier Carpenter's popularity soared, but around him, ministers fell as their dealings with influence peddler Brian Burke were exposed. The Liberals, meantime, have come full circle on the leadership since the last election. After losing in 2005, Colin Barnett announced his resignation from Parliament. But after the party cycled through 3 leaders, including the chair sniffer, Troy Buswell, Barnett was the last man standing. He was drafted back into the job only a month ago. The very next day, Alan Carpenter called the election. He tried to expose the leadership turmoil in the opposition by going to the polls very early and under the cover of the Olympic Games in Beijing. What he didn't count on was Colin Barnett being a much stronger opposition leader second time around. The gap has narrowed significantly during the campaign and the polls point to a knife-edge result tonight. Well, joining me here in the studio tonight is Labor strategist Bruce Hawker and Liberal frontbencher Senator Helen Coonan. Thank you both for joining us. Also in Perth, Sky News chief political reporter Kerian Gilbert is in the tally room and he'll be joined by a number of key figures there throughout the night. Meanwhile, in Canberra, Sky News political reporter Ashley Gillen will be keeping us up to date on results in the 2 federal by-elections, which have also been underway today. In former Trade Minister Mark Vale's seat of Lyne and former Foreign Affairs Minister Alexander Downer's seat of Mayo. So a lot to keep an eye on and a lot to get through tonight. Let's start with our panel here in the studio. Bruce Hawker, the polls say a knife-edge result tonight. What is your prediction before we see the results come in?
Very hard to predict it before